Hey, 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 girl. Hey, 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 girl.
Hey, melanin dripping, sweet candy coated honey bar, good looking. The way how you moving, put me in the mood, I'm glad to see you. Your waistline on the baseline, so attractive, I wanna be a captive. I see a smile on your face now, so beautiful, I know you're original.
So come push back on me, I wanna see if you got good chemistry. And come wind up on me, don't hold back, y'all, just be free. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. Dance to me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we still grooving. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. Dance to me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving.
Come talk to me, girl. Classy and intelligent, are you on the world? I let me sit face to face. Know you feel the tension, just had to mention. Your brown eyes, shining bright, so gorgeous and glowing like sunlight. Hear your voice, angelic high, so amazing, I wanna keep this going.
So come push back on me, I wanna see if you got good chemistry. Come wind up on me, don't hold back, y'all, just be free. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, y'all, you're sweet off. Dance for me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we still grooving. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, y'all, you're sweet off. Dance for me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving.
Hey, 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 girl, I wanna take you home with me.
And hey, 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 girl, show you good energy, yeah.
Hey, 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 girl, I wanna treat you right, you see, you see, you see.
Hey, 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 yeah, girl. So come wind back on me, I wanna see if we got good chemistry. And come wind up on me, don't hold back, y'all, just be free. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. Dance for me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we're still grooving. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. Dance for me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we're still grooving. I love how you dance and you have my attention. And dance for me, baby. Just keep it moving, cause we're still grooving. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention. And dance for me, baby, step out, step out. Keep it moving, we're still grooving. Aye. Cause we're still grooving. Step out, step out. Hey.
Yo, I think I'm gonna really give up this life. Just try to be a better guy, But wait, man, they got a great girl, and they really feel like go treat you a certain way. I understand. So what's up with you? The girls, man. Some things about kind of resolve. I think I can just, apologize and start fresh and clear the slate, and hopefully, that will work out for me.
Well, if it makes you happy, give it a try. She deserves it, right?
Hey, give you a call and see how it works out, man.
Let me know how it goes.
For sure. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Hey baby, how you doing? Before you hang up, can you just listen for a while? I was stupid, I'll admit it. Should've never done anything to take away your smile. So I dropped my pride, all my cards are laid. I know I hurt you most definitely, and I'm trying to make it right. I wanna take away your pain. Said you need your space and you're trying to live, but I'm really hoping that you can forgive me. I'm wrong, I wrote this song, it's been too long. Forgive me, baby. Baby, please, this is my apology. I was wrong, I was wrong. Don't you leave, this is my apology. I was wrong, I was wrong. So baby, can I come over and show you how sorry I am? I'll make you my lady tonight. Oh, if you want it, put your request in and I'll be on it. We'll make sweet love all through the night. I didn't know you would pick up the phone, and now I'm wondering if you were alone, girl. If so, just let me know. I wanna plan a rendezvous. Please forgive me, don't turn away. I wanna try again starting today, honey. I'll fight, I'll treat you right. See me tonight, I'll fix this, baby. Baby, please, this is my apology. I was wrong, I was wrong, girl. Don't you leave, this is my apology. I was wrong, I was wrong. Don't you leave, no, no. I was wrong, I apologize. Oh, believe me, I do. I apologize. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Ooh, I'm sorry. I am. I'm sorry. I am. Baby, ooh, I'm sorry. Ooh, I'm sorry. I am. I'm sorry. I am. Baby, please, this is my apology. I was wrong. I was wrong, girl. Don't you leave. My apology. Oh, baby, please. Ooh, I was wrong. I apologize. This is my apology. I do. I apologize. I was wrong.
Hello.
Hey babe, what you doing?
Nothing.
Can you come over?
Yeah, not easy.
Anybody ever told ya what a woman really is? If you ever get the moment, show them how much they give. You're a shoulder I can cry on, arms I can embrace. Is to hear my deepest thoughts, protect her night and day. You are mother, sister, daughter, nieces, aunties, wives. You are amazing, cause you have given life. You are mother, sister, daughter, nieces, aunties, wives. You're all amazing, I try to describe. You are woman, yes you are, yes you are. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are.
You have birthed the nations, a nurturer you are. You bless us with your wisdom, and you tended every scar. You have found me broken, you have shown me light. You ignited all my passions, and loved me through the night. You are mother, sister, daughter, nieces, aunties, wives. You are all amazing, cause you have given life. You are mother, sister, daughter, nieces, aunties, wives. You are all amazing. I try to describe, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are.
To be a woman is to be blessed with unparalleled intuition, to be powerful, power independent of place or position. To be a woman is to be a mother, giving birth to sons and daughters, ideas, institutions, and business ventures. To be a woman is to be the current inspiration, the future aspiration of a young lady, of a little girl.
You're a masterpiece of harmony, a melody of life. You're a gem, a diamond flower in spring, you're one of a kind. You're a masterpiece of harmony, a melody of life. You're an African queen flower in spring, you're one of a kind. You are mother, sister, daughter, nieces, aunties, wives. So you are amazing. I try to describe, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. You are woman. You are woman. You are. Yes, you are, yes, you are. You are woman. You are woman. And when obstacles manifest as natural, you are born for this.
To be a woman is to be the heart of the system, to be the one who brings life into our world.
Warning. What you are about to hear goes against traditional romantic counsel expressed by friends, family, and Instagram memes and quotes. Open-mindedness is advised. Warning. What you are about to hear goes against traditional romantic counsel expressed by friends, family, and Instagram memes and quotes. Open-mindedness is advised.
Hey ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, and welcome to another edition of the Senate believe you me, I am here. I'm just trying to fix my camera. But anyhow, we are here. We are live. The guy in the blue screen, he is Neil. The guy that is not in the blue screen, he is Derek. And together we are your senators for this evening. Just give me one quick second. Let me fix my camera. I don't know why it is decided not to work at this current juncture. But Derek, how you doing, my brother? Talk to me. Talk to me. How you feeling? How you doing? How is it going, my brother? Mhm. 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 Well, I am good apart from not being able to get this camera working, but other than that, I am really good. I feel thankful. I think I mean the can't oh dear. Well, all of a sudden no, they can't hear Derek. No. All right. How about let me try that. Try no. Can you hear Derek? No.
Check. 1, 2. Jennifer, let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Just let me know.
Yeah. All right. All right. I think that should be it. No. Well, Derek.
You get Steve Wu.
Steve Wu. How are you doing, my brother? Tell the people how you're doing.
Okay, Steve is saying you can hear me, but I can't see you. Yeah, man. I am good. I am well. There you are.
There you are.
Actually managed to increase the weight I was lifting and stuff. I still get some good reps out of it. So I am feeling pretty good about that. Jennifer is still saying she can't hear me. Not sure what's up with that. But yeah, man, I am here. I am well. And I am ready to go.
Mm-hmm. All right. Me, I am good. I am all right. I can't complain.
Yeah, man. I see you come out freshly coiffed and everything, man.
Yeah, I had a little court appearance there, so that I had a minute, you had to cut your hair. No, seriously. No, I had a gig. I had a performance that I had to do, and it required me to not look like how I was looking before. And apparently, somebody said that I was looking. I think the word they said was shaggy, scruffy. They said I was looking scruffy, but no, I did not cut my hair because you said that I look scruffy. No, I cut my hair because I had work, and once it comes to the acting thing, once I do have a role, I have no problem in changing my appearance, cutting my hair, etc.
Do what you want. You must.
Yeah, but outside of that, you could okay. No, I can hear. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the technical difficulties early, but we are still here. We are still live. I am blessed. I am thankful. It's funny. There years ago, I would have been doing work with a guy, and he used to be what we call a Jesus man. He was a very devout Christian.
Yeah.
And one thing he would say every time you ask him how he was doing, my mom would say, "I'm thankful." Right? And I find it so interesting and so funny now that because when I used to hear that before, I used to be like, that guy's very pretentious. He is thankful. You're good. Yeah, good. What do you mean you're thankful?
Cool.
Yeah, I all right. But for me, I would say that I am thankful. I have life, I have ability, and I have a completely different makeup and mindset now. My latter years of life. No.
Yeah, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Senate podcast. We do content for you 5 days a week. Did you know that? 5 days a week, Derek. We do content for these people.
5.
Right? You all like it. 5 days. We work hard from a Monday to Friday to give you the best content we can give you. We do have some other ideas coming, pending. So why not like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything that is coming down the pipeline at a later date. And yeah, let me grow the community. Share. Whatever you do, just share. Share. That's the important thing. Share this content. But other than that, let's be part of the community. Let's have fun. Let's talk the things and be respectful at all times. Now, my brother, Let us talk the things. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you would know we are here for live stream every Tuesdays and Thursdays. And before every live stream, Derek will go on our social media page on Facebook. You can check us out on the Senate Podcast on Facebook. Derek would have posted something on our Facebook to kind of drum up conversation, start the conversation going, let everybody know what we were talking about, and, you know, let's get into it. Now, it's funny because you've chosen a piece of literature that we read when we were...
Yeah, many moons ago.
We were boys, right?
Yeah.
And it was, you know, I reread it in my adulthood, and it is a piece of literature that is so... It's timeless, as they would say.
Indeed.
Timeless. But, Derek, over to you, my brother. Lead us in sermon tonight.
Yeah, man. We just get sorted out. So, good night, folks. Once more, as Neil said, you know, we watching the Senate Podcast here on YouTube. Check us out. It's we up at 222 subscribers. We're feeling good about that. We thank you so much to everybody that has subscribed. Thank you so much to everybody that's taking the time out to tune in and listen to what we have to say. Tonight's show is going to be a little different, Neil. We're not really talking relationships per se.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not directly, but we are definitely going to, you know, look at things, some of the things that influence how we approach the dynamic between men and women. And I think this is going to be a very interesting discussion tonight. I am going to encourage everybody present to invite a friend and let's have this one, because this is going to be an interesting discussion, I assure you. And also to join the call, we're gonna put the link for you, right, Neil?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna put the link for them so that they can tune in, join in on the discussion, because this is not, we're not talking relationships straight up. No, we are not. Not tonight, at least. And I'm trying to share this here. Yeah, okay, let me do it. Let me go this way. Right. So we're not talking relationships straight up, but it does have an impact, what we're going to discuss tonight, on the relationship dynamic. You're going to see it come back, but this one is a little different. So as I started to prep for tonight's show, you know, I like to actually come and not just talk out of my ass, but actually give you some information that makes sense. And Neil would say, you know, come with your facts, not your feelings. And I like to come with facts, and I like to come with, you know, things that I would have seen and researched and all that. And as I was prepping for the show tonight, I remembered the famous quote from George Orwell's Animal Farm. And that quote was, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. And for a brief moment, Neil, and for those of you in the cabinet tonight, for a brief moment, a tiny part of me felt a minuscule fragment of pity for the advocates of feminism and its various waves thereof. You know, you got first through fourth wave feminism, right? You see, ladies and gentlemen, in the cabinet tonight, I like to give the original inventors and advocates of feminism the benefit of the doubt. I think that they had reasonable, just, practical, and honorable and altruistic intentions about women's equality. And I suspect that they secretly shake their heads at what they see in society today. So we can talk about, you know, you like to talk about this, Neil, the feminism. So we can talk about it. Beg you, just don't jump the gun tonight.
Got
right?
you covered. No problem. I will refrain.
Well, you will attempt. You know how it goes. Right? So feminism in its original iteration, right, speaks to a range of social movements and ideologies that aim to define and establish the political, economic, personal, and social equality of the sexes, right? That's why Neil says all the time, we are feminists.
We are.
We believe in that.
Yes, sir.
Right? I feel as if nobody can take umbrage with any of those things, right? With any of those talking points. Talking about social movements and ideologies that aim to define, establish the political, economic, personal, and social equality of the sexes. That's what we're talking about. Nobody can argue that, right? But I also want to include, for me personally, I don't know if you all guys want to do it, but I think we should include sexual equality as well. because sexual liberation is a huge thing, especially for women. And we all understand that in 2021, you know what it is. Women have what?
Agency over their parts.
Over their parts and can do with them what they wish. So that needs to be acknowledged, right? So let's continue with the definition of terms. Those of you in a scholastic environment will understand when we talk about the definition of terms. So feminism incorporates the position that societies prioritize the male point of view and that women are treated unjustly within those societies. Efforts to change that include fighting against gender stereotypes and establishing educational, professional, and interpersonal opportunities and outcomes for women that are equal to those of men. Again, I think that we are all pretty much on the same page where this is concerned. If we wanted to, we could split hairs and kind of get down to the nitty gritty about some of the talking points in there, but I think we understand the intended premise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to push forward a little bit more, Neil, and we can talk about fourth wave feminism. So we started the first wave feminism back in the 50s, 60s coming up. And today we are fourth wave feminism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is where things start to get a little dicey, but I'm going with, according to the gospel, according to Wikipedia. So this is how they define fourth wave feminism. Fourth wave feminism is a feminist movement that began around 2012 and is characterized by a focus on the empowerment of women, the use of internet tools, and intersectionality. The fourth wave seeks greater gender equality by focusing on gendered norms and marginalization of women in society. Intersectionality and interlocking systems of power are emphasized, and how these contribute to the social stratification of traditionally marginalized groups such as women of color and trans women. Fourth wave feminists advocate, like earlier feminists, so there are some similarities between the two groups, for greater representation of these groups in politics and business, these groups being, as I mentioned before, women of color and trans women. Yeah. And argue that society would be more equitable if policies and practices incorporated the perspectives of all people. Again, Neil, those of you under the sound of my voice tonight here in the cabinet on the Senate podcast on YouTube, I don't think we can argue those talking points. Well, at least on the surface, right? At surface level. Mm-hmm. Again, if we wanted to nitpick and split hairs and get down into nitty gritty and down to brass tacks, we could. But we appreciate it for what it is on surface level, right? Now, these are particularly lofty and noble intentions. Unfortunately, the saying goes that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Mm-hmm. And I think that is what is happening here for the last few years, and certainly today in 2021, heading into 2022. You see now, Neil, women are more educated and liberated than at any other time in human history. Equality seems more of a reality than ever before, but in an effort to include everybody, fourth wave feminists have indeed included everybody, but possibly at the exclusion of the very women for whom they have fought. And with that, we turn to a story from the New York Post, Neil. I'm going to set you some paraphernalia, and if you could get into that, that would be fantastic.
Yes, sir. We have the first. drink a beverage, brother. We
You ready for me?
You on screen?
Good. UPenn transgender swimmer continues dominant season with more record-breaking wins. Okay. We ready? Let's crack on, folks. Mm-hmm. A 22-year-old transgender swimmer at the University of Pennsylvania continued her dominant performance this season, setting numerous pool, meet, and program records at a 3-day event in Ohio last weekend. Leah Thomas blew away her competition Friday night in the 500-yard freestyle preliminaries and finals at the Zippy Invitational at the University of Akron, according to results posted by the school. In the finals, Thomas notched a winning time of 4 minutes 34 seconds, .06, good enough for a new Ivy League record. Stay with me, folks. The swimmer continues smashing records on Saturday with a nearly 7-second victory in the 200-yard freestyle with a time of 1 minute 41 seconds, 1 minute 41.93 seconds, representing the fastest finish in the country, the school said. Are you with me? Are you with me, family? If you're with me, give me some ones, all right? Over the weekend, Thomas also set a new program meet and pool record in the 1650 yard freestyle. She finished that race in what looks to be 15 minutes, 59.71 seconds. More than 38 seconds ahead of the second place finisher, teammate Anna Kalandadzi. I suppose that's the pronunciation of that. Right, and this is a picture we have of Leah Thomas.
Right, just give me a second. Let me put up that picture because I put up the wrong slide in the wrong position, but that's a very small thing to rectify. And there we go. There we go.
That's a picture of Leah Thomas, right? So, before we going on, Neil? We can go on?
Yeah, we could go on, yes.
Yeah. Before her transition, Thomas competed for 2 full seasons at Penn as a man. NCAA rules mandate at least 1 year of testosterone suppression treatment to be eligible to compete as a woman. Swimming is a huge part of my life and who I am. I've been a swimmer since I was 5 years old, Thomas told Penny today, last June. Being trans has not affected my ability to do this sport, and being able to continue is very rewarding. Yes, we notice it is very rewarding, Leah, as you are destroying the records at school. I think that's the last of the slides we had there, right?
No, there's another one there with being trans has not affected my ability to be rewarding, and then there's a picture of her before transitioning. Thomas competed for 2 full seasons in a state as a man.
There we go. So that is Leah Thomas as a man. Now it said in the slides, Neil, those of you under the sound of my voice, that she continued smashing records on Saturday with a nearly 7-second victory. 7 seconds is a long time in a race, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one race. And then she finished a race 38 seconds ahead of the second place finisher, who happened to be her teammate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, to provide perspective, when they play the Jeopardy theme on here, the Jeopardy theme is 30 seconds long. And sometimes it feels like we are sitting for an eternity waiting for that to finish. And Leah Thomas finished the race 38 seconds. So 8 seconds longer than the Jeopardy theme. Which means that she probably finished the race, had a huff and a puff, got out of the pool, got dried off, and probably went wherever she had to go and wash off or whatever, and then her teammate was finishing.
Mm-hmm.
I want you guys to consider how you would feel if you were her teammate and you were, born a female, and now you had to compete against somebody who had transitioned to a female, and you were a female all your life, trained as a female, and you're now competing against somebody who was born a man, trained as a man, competed as a man, and then made the transition. And after a year, only after a year, I know they're competing against you. I know how it would feel if my daughter had to go into that competition. And I don't think I'd be very happy about it, to be honest. Right? But these are the things that equality has pushed for, where everybody's the same. Everybody's the same, right? So now we have the woman who is going to break those records, Neil. In one instance, will have to make up 7 whole seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And in another instance, we'll have to make up 38 seconds. in order to have the opportunity to break those records, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is, but because generally speaking, when we have these kinds of laws and these kind of bills being passed, it tends to be more women who vote for these kinds of things, and men tend not to so much. So here it is a case where we saw it at the recent Olympics earlier this year, where you had a male weightlifter competing. Sorry, that's inaccurate. We had a man who transitioned to a woman and competed in the weightlifting category at the Olympics, right? And there was a hue and cry about that as well. But this is what we've pushed for. And I think it's a case where you get what you want, but you don't want what you get. Because equality and inclusion have now ushered in gender fluidity, right? And with that, the trans athlete. The trans athlete is now a very real proposition which places the born female athletes at a decided disadvantage, whether we want to admit it or not. Because I know, and you know, Neil, that we want to think that, we are the same. And people want to think that we are the same as men and women. And for some reason, we can't seem to, or don't want to admit that is not the case. And we have to kind of accept these things because this is the corner into which we've painted ourselves, right? Let me get a little bit more from the dictionary, the dictionary of Wikipedia, right? Fourth wave feminism argues for equal pay for equal work, and that the equal opportunity sought for girls and women should extend also to boys and men to overcome gender norms. So you see where we get a little dicey. For example, by expressing emotions and feelings freely, expressing themselves physically as they wish, and to be engaged parents to their children. The utilization of print, news, and social media platforms to collaborate, mobilize, speak against abusers of power in seeking for the empowerment of women and seeking justice against assault and harassment is prominent. Again, I like to think that the original intentions of feminism are noble, Neil, and we can all agree that abusers of power and those guilty of reprehensible acts should be brought to justice. I think that is fair. I think that is reasonable. I think that not many people would disagree with that, right? Having said all that, when will we begin to recognize and appreciate the basic biological and physiological differences between men and women? To acknowledge those differences is not to admit weakness or inequality. To borrow from the Poor Man podcast, show to the Poor Man podcast, 2 + 2 is 4, 1 + 3 is 4. Yeah, they're equal, but they're not the same, right? We have witnessed the deleterious effects of the perversion of the fight for equality across other spheres in societies internationally as well, right? The erosion of the premise of innocent until proven guilty, well, for men at least. The neutering of men and masculinity. The presumption that all men are dangerous. The lack of accountability for and the validation and glorification of toxic female traits, and consequently collapse of family structures, particularly in Black communities, can all be linked to this distortion, and I can use that word, distortion of feminism. Again, let me be clear, Neil, because I know some people can click and say that, we are feminists here. Yeah, and we go back to its original iteration of equality, social, political, economic, sexually. Be down for it, right? Be cool with that. So we clear, right? Let me get a little dicey here now. Gender roles, right? I know people don't like to hear that word, but gender roles and stereotypes, right? have a place in society. And guess what? They have served to maintain societies for millennia.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, we want to throw the baby with the bathwater and abolish gender roles, well, for women at least, and operate as if there are not basic differences between men and women. On Saturday, Neil, we had our usual line, yeah? And I remember you had an interaction with a young lady there. And you asked a question, since we're not talking about gender roles, and you said, if there's a prowler in the house, who's supposed to get up and deal with it? And the result, the answer was a very quick and resounding, well, the man. And you said, okay, cool, I'll take that. And then you asked, if the baby's crying, who's supposed to get up and deal with it? And then we started to get the equivocation. We started to get the hedging. We started to get the him and a hawing. Or as we like to say here on the Senate, we started to get some dipsy doodling. Here, I mean, it depends. And I remember you were very quick to, attempt to cut it off. And I was like, no, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear her out. Let's hear the response. And the young lady said, it depends. Baby may be crying. And the mother may be tired. At which point, the man should be the person to get up and go and deal with it. And that's all reasonable. I suppose that sounds fair. But my question then was, well, all right, if a prowler comes and the man is tired, what happens then? You see, as much as we don't want to acknowledge gender roles, stereotypes and all that, they exist. Go ahead, my brother.
Right. I just want to interject real quick because me, I always think about counter arguments for our arguments. And I know one thing that somebody will say is that, we're talking about two different things, apple and oranges. We're talking about safety and security versus the nurturing of a child. See where you're going with this, people? Like, we have our rules. Safety and security, man thing. Nurturing, woman thing.
And that is how it has been for millennia, right? And we don't want to acknowledge that.
See what's there? See what's there? Jeez, yo! I tell you, I see in the green stream. Look in chat. The green stream.
Let me see what we got here.
I swear to you, I see the green stream, dog. Yes, the prowler and daycare are apples and oranges. Meaning that men, while they are both fruit, are apples and oranges. See, you cannot compare a crying baby to a prowler. No, you can't.
We can't. But here's the thing, though, right? And this is something I don't really want to digress into this, but let me digress this for a minute, right? This is a challenge that men have had. I don't want to get into the man-woman thing too much, right? At the end of the day, there are rules.
What if you get sorry again, Derek? What if you get tapped when the man is home? What happened to the baby crying any man at home? What?
Here's the thing. Irrespective of whatever happens, right? The man is expected to deal with that prowler. Irrespective. If he could have now come in from putting in a 23-hour shift, lay down 5 minutes, man breaking the house. No woman is saying, well, he's tired. I can go and deal with it. No, that ain't happening. You're going to wake that man up, and guess what? He is going to tell himself, it is my responsibility, it's my role to protect home and hearth. And he can get out and go. Even if you go with, but you aren't going up front nor next to, you can stand up behind. Right? So when we come to a crying baby, right? Which are not the same thing as we rightly say it. And we are not going to get into which is more problematic to deal with. We ain't going to get into that at all. Right? You are saying to men But yeah, let me hear. Atlas cannot shrug. That's a term I've heard. Right? And this is what men have been, talking about. We have our responsibilities. We can't put them down. Neil talks about it all the time. We got certain things going on in our family dynamic. They ask you for a little sexy time you started, can I get it? And that kind of shifts the dynamic between us, because guess what? The social contract was, I am providing these things. These are the things that work. These are the things that I like in our relationship that work for us. These are the things you like that I provide that work for us. So yeah, they're not the same, which is what we've been saying all night, but they're still equal. Right? But don't let me digress into the man-woman thing too much tonight. I didn't want to really get into that, you know what I mean? I really didn't want to. But anyhow, let me just wrap up quickly, right? Since the start of feminism, just over half of a century ago, we've seen a rise, right? A rise. Early termination of pregnancies, single-parent homes, divorce, while simultaneously witnessing a steady decline in the marriage rate. I feel as if these are some of the unintended consequences of the fight against the patriarchy. Yeah, loud P word. But if the 50s and 60s made first wave feminists shake their heads, they must be longing secretly and silently for the days of the patriarchy, when they consider what is transpiring in today's society and how the perversion of feminism now threatens to discriminate against the very women it was intended to serve and protect. Over to you, my brother.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are watching the Senate podcast. If you do like what we are sharing here with you, you can subscribe. We provide content for you 5 days a week, 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We give you a shorter version of the Senate where we tackle the same things, but in a lighter form. We go around the internet, my man. Derek goes deep in the doldrums of social media to bring back what I could only consider madness, and we talk about those things. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have this space where we do the live stream and everything like that. And on top of that, we will be doing other things in this space as well. We have some ideas brewing. And we are going to execute them as the weeks and months go on. So, if you are subscribed, if you did give us a subscription or you are subscribed, consider hitting the notification bell so you don't miss anything that we have coming on. You could dislike too. That is fine. We want you to dislike. We want to be challenged. But facts, not feelings. I have on a special shirt today. Shout out my man Ramel Marshall, aka Hook, for hooking me up with this shirt.
Okay, I see you.
Right. So here's my thing. Yeah, I keep saying this all the time, right? And again, I want to be very clear. When it comes to these, I'm sure most of you would have heard of thought experiments. I don't necessarily call them thought experiences for myself, but there are things where I just sit down and think about, right? I challenge everything that is brought to me, and even if it's my own beliefs and everything like that. So when you have a situation like equality amongst the sexes, and again, Derek said it very aptly. We are feminists. Women should have the right to vote. Women should have the right to have the opportunity to have the jobs that men have and do. They should be paid commensurate. Once they put in the work and they put in the time, they should be paid commensurate. Women should not have to deal with the things that they have to deal with in terms of the catcalling and everything, that the professionalism in the workplace, etc., etc. I could go on and go on, but we do believe in a society where women are not seen as things. Women do have value, and women do have, in a work setting, the same value as men. But a thought came to me one day, and it was like, women and men are not the same. We are not the same. And immediately the voice from the corner of my head was like, whoa, you can't say men, we're not the same. You can't say that, we're not the same. But the more I think about it, we are not the same. We operate on a biological and mental different set of rules. Society treats us differently, whether we want to admit it or not. There are privileges afforded to women that are not afforded to men, and vice versa. We are not the same. in the society, in the workforce, as the law understands it, shoot, even in the law, we are not the same, but that's a different conversation for another time. We are not the same, but by societal standards, we should be viewed the same. No. We are now at a crossroads where, because of feminism, you cannot say that men and women are not the same. Because the first thing that comes to people's mind is you're saying women are inferior to men. Especially as a man. Especially as a man, you cannot say we are not the same. The analogy that Derek used earlier about the crying baby versus the prowler, and it's so interesting that I could see that being a counter argument, right? That is exactly the point. A crying baby and a prowler are not the same. Therefore, while yes, you could be laying on tents to me and you could get up and go and deal with the prowler and be very, very successful in defending the household. And I could get up and go and nurture the baby and be very successful in taking care of that baby. When you look at societal... But no, I never get into which you prefer to do. The point is that by and large, if there's supposed to be a leader and a submissive in those roles, you're going to submit to me to protect the household, and I'm going to submit to you in the taking care of the child. Good. When we speak about these things, men, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are not talking just because we want to incite noise and riot. We are not doing this because we want to come and say that we should go back to women in the household and the kitchen and, you know, barefoot and pregnant. No. I'm saying this to bring critical thinking to you. We are here to challenge your ideology and your thinking and what society has had you to believe. We both are fathers. I'm a father. You know, when my son was a baby in arms, needing a bottle, when I would get up on nights, he wants, not me, because he's hungry, he wants his mother. Now, you give him the bottle, once he get what he want, he good to go. But by and large, he would try to suckle on my chest. That signifies to me he want the milk provider. I cannot, and it's, to me, the protection of a home versus the nurturing of a baby is even more egregious because I cannot provide the same nurturing as a woman. Meanwhile, women, sure, they could get up and go and protect the household, but they don't want to. They don't want to. You see, let us take a moment to realize that men and women are not the same. Once we start with that premise, once you start thinking about it like we are not the same, men have their strengths and weaknesses, women have their strengths and weaknesses. They complement each other. They're the yin and the yang. Shout out Mr. Sawyer. Right?
Sorry.
Right? But we cannot come to this thing where we have men, women, we have genders, two genders. Then we start to split in the sub-genders of the human race. So now we have trans women. Derek and I would have done a short that we released yesterday with a 7'2" former basketball star trans woman fighting men in the street over not being paid for sexual favors rendered. Right. And we have gotten to a space where we've seen it. Derek did a very good job in the monologue at the top of the show. We want inclusion of everything. So now that we have all of these genders, we have, I think, last count 100 and somebody genders, right?
Oh.
Every one of them will now want their place in the mainstream man versus woman thing and society. Do they have rights? Sure. Yes, they do. But everything comes with a cost. If you include men that transition to women into women's sports, say goodbye to women's sports. If you include men into, I almost hit behind, but we got something coming out later this week. Right, good. If you include men into women's sports, that is the end of women's sports. If you include men transitioning into women, yes, there are rules that say that a man must take a certain amount of hormones for a certain amount of time to suppress the testosterone in his body so that he can be on the level of estrogen with a woman. In some cases, because biology is such that there are differences in almost everyone's physiology, when a man suppresses for a year, 2 years, and he still got more testosterone than the women, and his quick, fast twitch muscle fibers are still firing at a much faster rate than women, and he still is beating the competition by whole tens of seconds, dozens of seconds. Nobody wants to see women's sports because now the whole is changed. You have women on that school. Think about her teammates. Her teammates have scholarships for swimming, but now you have a premier athlete that is destroying the competition.
Yeah.
So
I see that came second.
There.
I mean, could have won the event.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, I hear.
Yeah. So I think it's very important that we understand we are not equal. We are not. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm not saying one is less than the other. I'm saying that we are different, meaning that we have strengths and weaknesses that make the human race go around. You understand?
Yeah.
If you believe fundamentally that there's a difference between the nurturing of a crying baby versus the protection of a home, then you agree with what we are here saying. You just have to think about it, because the protection of a home comes with a different rule set and a different set of problems and rewards versus the nurturing of a child. I'm not talking about rearing a child. I'm not talking raising a child, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about the nurturing of a child. Yeah. Yes, a woman could get up and go and protect her home. Yes, a man could get up and go and nurture the baby. But who are we looking at? If you were a man and a woman in a bedroom, in a bed, sleeping, and there was a set of people, an audience watching, right? Mine is Derek, myself, 6 foot, how much ever else, Derek, you there? Oh dear. Derek, are you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here. I'm here again.
DG, are you with me? Oh yeah. Anyhow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you have a man,
sure what happened there.
Yeah, no problem. You have a man and a woman in bed laying down, and we're in front of a studio audience, men and women, right? And you hear a noise outside, and we pause the scene with both of the man and woman startled. When you ask the audience to please give a poll of who should go first, a person that is myself, 6'5", 200 or how much ever pounds, versus my wife or my woman that is 5'3", 140 pounds soaking wet. Very little muscle definition. Who is going out there to take care of the prowler? I guarantee you, more often than not, people will say the man should get up and go and deal with it. Flip the script now to a man and a woman in the bed, same scenario, same people, same actors. Baby starting to cry. Wah, wah. Woman lean over and say, yeah, our baby hungry. Right? Who is expected to get up and go? Pause. By and large, most people will say, let the mother go. But then you can get to equivocation, because we got to eliminate the equivocation. You can now come with, oh, but the woman might be tired. Oh, the man got bottles. You do not know anything in this woman's household other than a baby crying and a man woman got to get up and go feed this child. You don't know if they got no bottles in the house. You don't even know if they got whatever. The mother has to go and take care of the child. Yeah? So let us, I understand. We are quick to say, oh, two men talking about women are not the same as men. They must be misogynist. I get it.
Of course.
Sexist. No.
Of course you are.
No, we're not saying that. We're saying that we want you to understand that is a different set of rules that biology, that life has for men and women. And for all of our machinations of trying to level the playing field, there will always be the salient point that men and women are not the same.
Can't get around it. Can't get around it. And for some reason, we seem to want to try to get around it. Until it's time for the rubber to meet the road, and then all of a sudden we don't want to. For example, the U.S. Army, well, the U.S. government decided, you know what, women gotta be eligible for the draft. I know all of a sudden it's like, yeah, no, I really signed up for that. You know,
Nobody got time for that.
yeah, shoot, I think God somewhere about here. You know, nobody about that life. I mean, we equal and all, but ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah, women both it. Women both it, because women ain't going to fight no wars nor an asshole, right? And as you said, Neil, because we've made the transition now to, I saw somebody talk about. Yeah, let me maybe chat a little bit. The chat was a little entertaining to me. Ruben says transgender athletes so unfair they should have their own category, which sounds like, you know, the most reasonable thing. Mrs. Cat is in the house. Good night to you.
Good night, Mrs. Cat.
DJO in the house as well. Ruben is warning Jimmy to be careful that YouTube is like the KGB. Kevin Manning in the house. Good night to you, my brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, man.
Fergie says we start off hot. I guess you could say so. Ruben says he thinks it is unfair to quote unquote real women. I'm going to give him the quotes there.
Oh.
And yes, the Lee AO says if as a woman you say things like this, you would get called a turf. Yes, that's the term I was trying to remember, but it slipped me during my spiel. Jimmy says he in transition, he's still got XY chromosomes. And Ruben says, remember I said a while back, biology is not negotiable. It's not.
That's coming from a real doctor, by the way. Just think that is just not one of our friends that happens to be a man to talk foolishness. You know.
Actually knows what he's talking about. He's always been a very smart guy, huh?
Ruben has been a scientist. Ruben was a scientist from second form.
Yeah, so
he wanted to be a doctor for second form.
So pay attention. Jaleel says, sorry to say this, and it might cause a bit of a brawl, but people who do this kind of thing are sick in their head, period. Well, that's up for debate. Some people will say otherwise.
I think honestly on that point, Joe, I think people have the right to do what they want to do, right? If you identify as a woman, if you're a man, you know, that is your thing. I ain't getting in. I am not qualified enough, educated enough, smart enough. Shoot, I ain't even human enough to say that I can speak on how somebody else feels and their experience in their body and their mental, how they perceive life, right? So yeah. I would say that I think that everybody is entitled to their own decisions in life. But as Derek and I always said, Derek says it so many times. If you commit them consequences, you got to be prepared for the consequences. Shoot, my mom Mark Moore. Shout out Mark Moore. You know,
play country games.
You will be awarded country prizes. So let's understand that. I'm not saying that country things will happen if you transition to a woman or you transition to a man if you're the opposite sex. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that life operates that.
Consequences.
Actions have consequences.
Actions have consequences.
Yes.
Can't get around it. Ruben is making the suggestion you have XY chromosomes. You can raise other women with XY chromosomes. I think that's fair. Then he continues, he says, no great culture has ever been built without men assuming certain gender roles. Yeah, men going out there, men digging the ditches. I always come back to I always reference the building, laying of this driveway that we did outside the house, right? I spoke to a lady on the phone to order the materials and stuff like that. From the delivery of the material, folk, to the very construction of said driveway, I did not interact with another woman after that point. Men brought the material, men came, they dug up all the land, they operated with excavator. The men came to lay the cement, to stir it, all that stuff. There are certain roles that men do. This is just what it is. That just happens. I'm not saying that women can't do these roles. Yeah, when you look at the police force, well, it's called not the Barbados Police Service. That's what we
Yeah,
call them.
Barbados. Yeah.
Yeah? In the great state, Republic of Barbados. When you look at the police force, predominantly men. When you look at the fire service, predominantly men. Yeah, nobody is saying, let me be very clear, that women can't and don't do these jobs. Apparently, we know who does those things, right?
But if I can interject here real quick, Derek.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
I had a conversation in the barbershop on Friday, right? And one of the things that we spoke on, shout out Kevin Hunt, what's going on, my brother? So yeah, I got my hair cut on Friday, and had a very interesting conversation. And you know, there's this talk about, so recently we have a lot of, obviously our prime minister is a woman. We have several prominent leaders in the world that are female, that are women, and you know, some of these societies are doing really well, and a lot of people are pointing to them saying that yes, you see, women can lead. We don't need the patriarchy. But there are a couple of things here. One, we have to realize that these women are leaders in a, I hate to say it, but patriarchal society, right? In a system built by men. And two, I can be real honest with you, dog. I don't think women want to lead. I literally do not think. You know what? That's not a fair statement. I apologize. Women, here in the chat, in the Senate, do you want to lead? Do you want to run a country? Do you want to be in charge of the infrastructure of a society? Do you want a situation where men take a step back, men say, you know what? Yeah, we built it, but you know what? Y'all be giving y'all the keys. Y'all could do with the car as you like, right? Do you want to lead? Do you want to start wars? Do you want to end wars? Do you want to make the tough decisions to send troops into certain things, right?
I don't know if it's the right question, Neil.
Oh,
right? Because I hazard a guess that most women would want to lead.
Man, no. Go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, I think the more pertinent question, the better question would be, do women want to build and manage it? If you're talking about society, do women want to build it and manage it? Do women want to do? Let me say that we have when we were at school, we had a change over there. Really, the students, some students,
the teachers, yeah,
teachers, and the teachers were dressed as students.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say we had a change over there.
Right.
Well, not a change over there, but we just decided, you know what, we can have a changeover.
Mm-hmm.
And so now women will make up the majority of the police, the defense force, fire service, construction, and
construction. sorry. I apologize.
I get you, dog. And and men would go into the things like the office work and that kind of stuff. We just have a change over there. Men would deal with the children, that kind of thing. They're not change over there. You know what I mean? An extended period of changeover.
Mm.
Are we going to do that? Yeah. Are we going to be cool women? Are you going to be saying, hey, we got houses to build, so we can build them, and men can start home, as you would say, patriarchal, well, maybe matriarchal then, and the men will take care of the home and hearth, deal with the children, etc., etc. Are we cool with that? Can we run that? Can that work?
Man, for me, I understand what you're saying and I agree, right?
Because I don't think women have any problem leading, right? We see that in society. Women don't have a problem leading.
But with leadership comes hard decisions, hard, tough, stressful decisions.
And I understood. I don't think the decision making is going to be too much of an issue. I think when you put your heads together, you can collectively come with the best decision. No leader makes a decision, all just like that. So there's still going to be a hive brain, a hive mind to help the decision making and stuff like that. But in terms of building and running society, right? I'm really curious as to if women would want to do that. If women would want to be the persons to say, all right, don't worry about it. When they're doing it right, we got
We can
it.
do it. We can take care of it.
Yeah. I'm curious as to if women would want to do that. And women, let me know. Drop it in the chat, man. Let us know if you want to build and run
And when we
maintain
say
everything.
and when we say leadership, ladies and gentlemen, we ain't talk about saying no in the prime minister office making decisions for a country. We ain't talking about that. We ain't talking about the glamorous taking pictures and thing next to the queen and that. No, we're not talking about that. We talking about the sewage systems and leading and running and maintaining that. We are talking about dealing with natural disasters, running and leading that and leading the charge into that. I see Leo, it's more efficient to hire the person that can get more done in less time. That would naturally be a strong man. And I don't know, man. For me personally, I think that I think as much as people we here in Barbados, we know how we Barbadians like to keep it. Everybody's a politician. Everybody's a political analyst when it comes to the running of our country. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody believes that this prime minister do this and should do that and should not do this and etc. 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 Shoot, we just had a 400 justice a peace elected yesterday. Everybody want to know if there's so many papers that need signing, right? Right? It's a joke. But anyhow, what I think we do best is be armchair politicians. We always got a grander plan than what is out there. And I think that by and large, we talk a big game, but I think once the lights are out at its brightest, you have lives at stake, you have an economy at stake, and you have an infrastructure to maintain, right? I do not think it is as easy as people wanting to do that. I think the average person does not want to do that. I don't think the average woman wants to do that. Sure, if you go to school to be a political science major, and you want to lead and everything like that, of course, you want to lead, but let us be honest.
Give me a sec right now.
But let's be honest, I literally don't think so many people want to be leaders. So I think it's all fine and good to say that women, I think that I actually do agree, which is very odd. I do think they make fantastic leaders in a sense because they're more organized and structured in their thinking, right? And men not jump the gun, but men are more, what's the way you want to say it? Men are more disorganized or be willing to be quick to anger and that kind of stuff. So I think there are merits in a woman leading a country than a man. But by and large, I think that we have to understand that men and women are different. Men and women approach something differently. So to say that, I'm not saying a woman can't lead. I ain't saying that a woman shouldn't lead. I'm saying that we have to be very careful in saying that, you know what? Men and women are equal. We are not equal. I personally don't believe that there's a patriarchal system in the true sense of the word anymore. I think we have a system that was built under patriarchy, but the mentality and the societal norms are shifting. So I don't know if I'm ready to consider it a patriarchy anymore. There's still some things that I am weighing on that and doing research. Ruben would have sent me an article recently that was so interesting where he spoke about, patriarchy has been called this very bad and evil thing. When history has shown that the world has operated and spun best under a patriarchy, and that a matriarchy has always popped up in certain cultures and in certain countries, and it has failed. And ultimately, we are conflating two different things. We're conflating a system built by men versus a system built and run by some men that were using it for nefarious means. Right? So, a very interesting read. I thank Ruben for that again. But again, I want us to understand that we are not the same, ladies and gentlemen. We are not equal. We are not equal. Yes, women deserve the same rights as men. They deserve to be afforded the same luxuries and comfort that men should, and vice versa. But to say that we need to have men and women in sports. I remember, Derek, many years ago, one time during PE, we were playing basketball. The women said we want to play netball. So, see, they say I'm gonna go stop. They say, and we say, I'm gonna go hold on to this game. Then remember, so well, I want to talk about that basketball thing, but when I can't see in a netball, yeah, when I got with no movements and thing, but if you really want to care to netball and the nuance of netball, y'all can't see me. I will say, man, you sound sweet, but really and truly, it is shooting at a goal that is a certain so much a feat. I'll be taller than I wanna, be stronger than I wanna, be faster than I wanna. So anyhow. Sidebar, Jimmy, what mixer I'm using? I am using a very good question. A Behringer Xenix Q1202 USB. That's the mixer I'm using. I'm using a program called OBS for the live streaming capabilities. And yeah, any questions y'all have for me about anything that we're doing here behind the scenes, I have no problem. I don't want this to be a trade secret. Shoot. If y'all want to start podcast, more power to you. I would help. I've helped many people. I have no problem with doing it, and all the gear and everything I use, I have no problem with it. But so yeah, about my little story here. So about story time with Neil. So we put on the bibs. They put me, as we call it, goal attack, goal shoot, whatever. And we went into the netball thing. And I remember, Derek, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember that it was. We started to obviously play our basketball, and we was like, no, you can't do that. You can't bounce the ball. No, you can't do that, whatever. And I was saying, all right, no problem. Shoot, just pass it here. And when I put this hand above my head at 6'5", this is 9 foot. You can't get this ball. You can't get this ball at 8.5 feet. I don't care what woman you are. I don't care. The average woman can't get this ball. So,
all right, Ruben, don't talk the things.
What's that he said?
Ruben is saying that a men's team slaughtered the women in a netball tournament. Trying to remember which country. Yes, it was Australia. But yeah, we can get to it.
Hold that thought, Ruben. Hold that thought. But yeah, ultimately, I don't even know if Ruben, because I think Ruben was there too. I don't even know if Ruben remember this, but we destroyed the girls at netball. Destroyed. And yes, they knew the game tall. Yes, they shoot. Some of them were even faster than us, men. But in the end, we were taller and we could get to the basket easier without jumping. Yeah. So I'm not saying that to say that men are better at women at netball. I'm not saying I ain't getting into that. There is a merit to netball and women's sports. That is not what this is about. But I'm saying that women should compete against women. Men should compete against men in sports.
The transgenders should compete against each other.
Because when you put us in the same fields as women, shoot, tennis, athletics, almost hit behind again.
Don't take behind.
Soccer, all of these sports, men dominate women. Nobody wants to see men shoot. The athletes don't want to see men and women compete in the same sport unless it is a mixed soiree into that. So we need to dispel the notion that men and women are equal. Men and women are not the same. Men and women do think almost alike in terms of the psychological makeup. I think Ruben can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was said we are about 65% similar in our psychological makeup. But yeah, we are similar, but we are not the same.
I think part of the larger issue, Neil, is the what I like to think of as the dispensability of men. And we seem to think that, but it's just many, somebody else could do it. Another content creator in another space would tell you that men have made the world so civilized that now people think it's easy to be a man. And we've also become, and because of that, we've become so dispensable and expendable. I was like, yeah, you really need them. There actually was a post about what the world would be like without men for 24 hours or something like that.
There's a movie, a series that was canceled very quickly.
Praise Jah. But yeah, there's the thinking that, you don't need men, so because everybody could do it. So when you ask the question about if women want to lead, yeah, of course women want to lead. But do they want to build it? Do they want to run it? Probably not. Who knows, right? But back to the original premise of the whole thing of equality, and if we want to be, if we want to talk equality, and as you would have said it earlier, there needs to be Abby saying sorry, hi Abby. Not
Abby.
sorry about. See Aston in the house. Good night to you, my brother.
Aston, what's going on, my brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, Abby.
So
Just sorry, Derek. Just elaborate, Abby, about sorry. I don't know if you responded to somebody in the chat or if you're talking about. So, how do you say that women don't want to build it? So how?
Women don't want to build it. Well, the women will tell you straight up that they don't want to do certain things. We've seen several, for example, the draft. When it came time to everybody wanted to be like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, until they said the U.S. government decided, okay, everybody eligible for the draft, not just the men. And then there were a whole set of women making videos. No, they don't want to do it. They don't want to be in the front line. If they do enter the draft, they don't want to have to do the same exercises or the same drills, and then they don't want to go in the front line. Right? So these are just things that are what they are.
But not only that too. Yeah, shout out Tara. But not only that too. Yeah, Justin to get haircut, man, falling up on a razor. I had to go to court. Sounds like assumptions and stereotypes. But Abby, if you look at society by large, women are not running to do the jobs that men do, like en masse. Like by and large, men still do certain things. Women are not rushing to be firefighters. And I mean, I ain't talking about one or two. We're talking about you're not seeing all of a sudden the application rate for police officers has just jumped 2,000%. You're not seeing women 2,000% of applications to be firefighters going up 2,000%, 5,000% of applications to be construction workers and in-field workers going up by 5,000%. You're not seeing it. And that shows us that women are not necessarily willing and ready to go out there and do those things. I'm not saying that some women don't do it. I'm not saying some women don't want to do it, but I'm saying.
You are not aware that this is because of a lack of it's not because of a lack of opportunity. Actually, because as I would have said earlier in the monologue, women are more educated, more liberated than any time before in human history. So the opportunities are actually there now. And as a matter of fact, when you actually leave, I see you, Kevin, man. I see you. When you actually leave men and women to their own devices, you will find, for example, at university, women would tend to take up more humanities subjects, generally speaking. Of course, there will be the outlier, and men would tend to head more towards STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, right? And that is just what it is. For example, we had somebody call in a couple of weeks ago. Rianne called in a couple of weeks ago, and she is actually, I think she's an architect or something like that. Right?
Yeah. Right. Built some stuff for the she got her work is all over Barbados. You can see it.
Right. So, and she too was saying, because she's in the field in which she is, she as an architect would tend to, there's a male-dominated field, and she was making the point that, women go into this thing. Obviously, she would make that point because she was in it. But then, when you ask, how many women do you run into on a daily basis? One at best. Sometimes none.
The opportunities are there.
The opportunities are there. Because Rihanna is just a couple of years younger than us, right, Neil?
Yeah.
Right, and so the opportunities have been there for a while now.
I think she said she definitely said, I think within the last 10 years for sure, that the opportunities have risen a lot, and in all spheres. I know that we can start to go into the argument that there are opportunities, but there's still like the politics or the red tape or the bias and discrimination of women in these different subsets of society. However, again, we don't have any proof of that. We don't have any proof that, you know what? Not that we have proof. We do have proof. That is not correct.
I'm not gonna say it.
We
We
do have
do
proof.
have.
We do have proofs
And
because
Jimmy is saying in Switzerland is recorded that the equal country women tended towards nursing, etc., and the men did STEM.
that's thing. But back to Abby's point. The point is that women. I've always heard this argument about women talking about discrimination, that men are chosen more often than not in certain subsets of even in white collar jobs. You know, you see it as it's overwhelmingly men. Men are always chosen over women, right? But I would like to counter with this argument. When you go into a job interview, whatever you go to do, doesn't matter if it is a white collar job, blue collar job, whatever. You go in there with your education, you go in there with your experience, etc. In that room, you're gonna find 5 different men, right? Because let's be honest, unless the job is a job calling specifically for a woman, in certain fields, you're gonna find more men in the application process than women. Yeah. Not by and large, but in some cases. Now, when you have that woman or 2 women, 3 women in a room of 10 men applying for the same job, you have women, these women are educated, they have the experience, etc. You have men that are, again, educated, some may be experienced, it varies. Less education, more education, etc., 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 qualifications, everything. But we have to understand that there's one job that 13 people, men and women, that are applying for. And you have the majority men versus women that are applying for the job, right? So I know it's quick to say discrimination in certain aspects that women are not being chosen for jobs. And I'm not saying discrimination doesn't happen. I would never say that. I would never say that a woman is not chosen. A man is chosen over a woman primarily because there was a woman and she may not be capable of doing the job. What I'm saying is that we have to be very careful in this whole notion that the reason why men are chosen for jobs more than women in all substrata of everything is because there's a discriminatory factor. Yeah. So Abby, I understand it is hard to hear. It is hard to challenge these norms that you've been told, right? That women just don't want to go into certain fields. The opportunities are not there to the same extent. Furthermore, women are scrutinized at get. They have to prove themselves to an unreasonable extent, period. How you want to tackle this? Because I want to tackle this. There are certain things that can come. Okay. So the opportunities are not there to the same extent. Let's choose a job that women...
Okay, I'll put it to you this. Let me look at this way, right, Neil? For example, I've been teaching for a long time. Right?
Don't do that.
A long time. I've been teaching for a long time. And at one point, there were 2 men on staff. 2. Myself and my brother Dwayne Goddard. Shout out Dwayne. Right? It was just the 2 of us on staff, right? So those are opportunities that women took up, right? Let me share a story from my teaching experience as well. Whilst I was one of those 2 men on staff, I teach PE. We were a teacher short, and I ended up teaching in a class 3 for a term, right? Subbing for a term. I put it to you that during that term, right, nobody taught PE through the school. Nobody said, you know what? Let me count my class. You want to know why, Neil Hoyt? You know why that is?
I do, but I like to hear you talk.
Too hot. And the women ain't good in that sun. You get what I'm saying? So there's certain fields that, as you said, Neil, that women just will not gravitate toward. And yet the opportunities are there.
There are.
Right? It is whether women want to go and compete to get those jobs, right? There is a clip that my guy Poor Man podcast would have done, and he talks about this very same thing, and he shows a clip of firefighter training overseas.
Yeah.
And it took a woman like 6 attempts to try to get the door
Opened.
knocked in, right?
Yeah.
Get the door open. And the caption came up on screen and it said, "This could be you and your family on the other side of this door." Then you have a man who just came and ran straight through it, door knocked down, that kind of thing. Nobody's saying, right? Let me be very clear. Nobody's saying that a woman cannot be a firefighter. Nobody's not saying that. But let us also appreciate that there are certain jobs that are, when a job requires brute strength,
Ah, boy. Good.
the job requires brute strength, who we call it, man or woman. I have a fundamental problem with the blanket statements about women, which is it appears you are basing on your personal experience.
Okay.
And that's fine. But personal experience aside,
The data is there. The facts are there. And yes,
look at the chat.
it is funny, right? Because you're saying that we are basing it on our personal experience, and that's fine. You are right. We should not base it wholly and solely on our personal experience. But we do have data. We do have facts. We do have things that we have. Sorry, not facts. We have data that supports our argument. You're saying things like women are. I mean, let me not misquote you, but you're saying something like, where's Abby? Abby. Ah, here we go. Your previous statement said, my gosh, all y'all saying, sounds like assumptions and stereotypes. You were saying, so you have decided, no, Lord have mercy, lost it. Forgive me here a minute, ladies and gentlemen, but I won't deal with this. The opportunities are not there to the same extent. Furthermore, women are scrutinized at the get. Then don't say women. Abby, I think you're new to this channel. So some time ago, there was this problem that coming up saying women. We said, you know what? We said women a lot. People say not all women, some women. Here on this channel, you're new, so we can explain it. Whom the cap fits. Yes, we don't mean every woman that walk in, but I sure they got 2 women in Abu Dhabi that we can't mean. The point is that, but we can't just say our experience, Abby, because the stats and data shows that by
Not only that, but it's me and Neil, but then when you look in the chat, there are a whole set of other men saying the same thing, right? So it's
shoot, women say the same. Hold
experience in this space right now. Have you got
women that say the same thing?
Even women in the chat say the same thing.
So we have data, we have lived experiences, and we have people that go that can tell you straight and plain. Like you can see it in society. You can see it in society, right? Like I know it's hard to hear, yo. I want to be very clear, Abby. We are not saying that women cannot do these jobs. We are not saying that women are incapable of doing these jobs, right? Shoot, we actually acknowledge that in certain subsections, there will be a lot of scrutiny because you're a woman. We understand that. But let us not say that, you know, women, what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to be very careful, but I want to be very clear, right? There are some jobs women just ain't doing. You may say, don't say women.
Generally speaking,
there are jobs women just ain't doing. And we can see that not by our lived experiences, not by what we see, because Derek see as a teacher. We are seeing it in the recruitment process, in the dangerous jobs. We are seeing it at the sewage department, the MTW, everything like that. The men that go up in the work road, you don't see women doing it. Yeah. We are not saying that women can do these jobs. There are opportunities more so than any other time in history, right? Whether they are afforded the same opportunities as men commensurate to how men get the jobs done is up for debate. The reason why I say that is because we don't have any data in front of us. We can only go by anecdotal and by experiences. Yeah. And until we do that poll, until we have those conversations, until we are told those things by people in sewage and firefighters and policemen, then we could deal with that in construction. But when you look at society by and large, when you look at the recruitment process and the applications into certain places, women are headed toward humanities. Women are heading more white collar jobs. Women are not going to jobs that are in the sun that deal with dangerous and running into harm's way. Women are most women 90. I don't even know a thing, but I think it was a stat we had the other day. The recruitment for police.
Yeah, the fire service. I think it was, or the police. It was 87.7% men.
Yeah, like when you look around the world at the army, at the police, at firefighters, at construction, when you look by and large, people will tell you women could be recruited. Come on down. Women are not coming en masse. And I said that to you earlier. I'm not talking about there's a huge influx of women. They're not going up by 5,000%. I have to say women because 2 women is still women. Yeah, women going, sure. Every now and then you see a female policeman. We get it. But you don't see little girls here.
Police.
What is that?
Policewoman.
Police. But, right. But by and large, you're not seeing.
In these times, police person.
But you're not seeing women just running down saying, oh, I want to go. Let's say a woman loses her job. Like 100 women lose their job and they have nothing to do, but there's a recruitment process for police officers. Of those 100 women, how many of them going to apply to be a police officer?
Even here recently with the job losses and stuff like that, with retrenchment and all, I didn't see women gravitating towards those things. It was, others.
Sorry, Derek. This is why I love the Senate, right? And I love what we do. Because Derek and I are not two stupid men. We're not misogynists nor we're not sexist. When we come here and we speak, we don't speak from a position of feeling that men are better than women, nor do we feel that women should be in the kitchen cooking. We come as two men, having been raised by single mothers, strong single mothers, right? With a healthy respect for women and the feminist movement. Women are here in the chat saying that they acknowledge men are better at manual labor. Men and women know that when it comes to the labor intensive work, the physical work and jobs, those are taken up by men.
This is why when you see an MTW truck, if you got 4 people on it, 9 things out of 10, 4 out of 4 is men.
Shoot,
see a waterworks truck, same thing. Shoot, the school means van. Comes to the school.
Anything
3 men.
Anything that deals with delivery, anything that deals with the manual intensive physical labor are primarily done by men. Women, they can do the jobs and they have the opportunities to do the job. When you can bring us data to show the discriminatory evidence of women not being able to get these opportunities, then we can have a conversation. When you can actually have a poll of 100 women and the majority of women could come and tell you, or shoot, not even the majority. Let's say 2 women come and say, yeah, we get discriminated and I have proof. Yeah, I'm not saying discrimination doesn't happen, but we can't use that as a blanket statement. We can't use discrimination or lack of opportunity as a blanket statement to say that's why women are not policemen, that's why women are not firefighters, that's not why women are construction workers, because that is simply not the case. These things are open to the general public to come and do. Shoot, I remember a few years ago, the people was begging people to come and be police officers. Please come and be police officers here in the island.
As a matter of fact, a lot of men did not qualify because of criminal records. So
there you go.
That can open up the opportunity for women to join.
So, as much as I understand it's hard to hear, Abby, I understand it is like, whoa, how you mean? Whoa, what you mean, women? What you mean? First things first, welcome to the Senate. Thanks. I hope you give us a subscription by the end of this. If you dislike this, you could dislike as well. That's fine. We definitely want to hold up. So the code on conduct here is that you have to agree with what you said and how. No, Abby, you are right to disagree. You are within your right to disagree. We only ask that you bring facts and not feelings. You can bring anecdotal, you could bring evidential, you could bring data, right? But at the end of the day, everybody could tell you in here, but shoot, the other week, Jennifer ball wait for same policeman and policewoman thing. Because Jennifer, when Jennifer first come about the place, Jennifer was like,
It's true.
hold on a minute. You're trying to say, because we said at night when somebody breaking in and police come, more than likely it can be me. If you can feel comfortable seeing me, hold on a minute, you're trying to sit there in the female police officers. We never said that. You can disagree with us. We encourage you to challenge us.
I was just gonna say we
We
do appreciate
encourage you to challenge us, Abby.
the disagreement.
But at the end of the day, we operate here by majority pushing our feelings to the side. Yeah, this is how we operate. The people in the chat, they got people every night that's come and challenge me. They got people that's challenged us, and that is fine. That is fine.
And you know what I mean, Neil? We actually kind of like that.
Yeah, we like being challenged because it keeps us on our toes. It's keep us
So
on
if
our
you got
toes.
some friends that you think would be also in disagreement, feel free to send them the link, bring them as well. We'd appreciate it.
But it's not. That's not the code of conduct here. The code of conduct here is exactly what you're doing, Abby. We encourage it. But what we are saying is that we disagree. We disagree because the evidence says differently, society says differently, and it's just a different thing. If you look at the stats, you can apply to anything you want. You, Abby, can go out and apply to do anything you want to do. In 2021, you as a woman can feel to do whatever her heart's content. No, that's the opportunity covered. If you get through to the job, understand, if you apply for the job, you have to compete. You have to compete against other women. You have to compete against other men, right? That is just what it is. And because you don't get through, don't mean that all women ain't getting through and a man get chosen. It simply could mean that a man is more qualified to do the job than you are. The wording matters.
Yeah, I guess the wording does matter, which is why you try to be very careful with how I put things. But
understand too that we are human too. I mean,
everything don't come over.
We
as
live
intended,
too.
I suppose.
We live. So I mean, shoot. I surprised. Well, not that I ain't surprised we ain't cancel. Yeah, because we're too intelligent, man. We don't think that way, and we ain't just say things for saying things. Say it like that nigga just drop out we mouth. But Abby, understand right when I say women, Abby, it is understood that I don't mean women and sundry. Right? There are exceptions to every rule. Right? There are some women that want to be. They got some women that want to be firefighters. They have some women that they have little girls that want to be police officers, to be ditch diggers. These are things that people want to do. But when you get to actually wanting to do it, by and large, women generally
don't gravitate to those.
So let me ask you a question, Abby.
Don't.
Fine. Let me ask you a question, Abby. You're a woman. Assuming. I hope so. Because this can be kind of awkward thing, but you're a woman. You have female friends. Of your female friends, I'm not telling you to tell me one or two. What is the percentage of your friends that do things like construction, ditch digging, police officers, firefighters, and they want to go into that thing or they do it? Of your friends, of the women you know.
I won't play all this time, but that's the abridged version.
What's the percentage of my hold on?
30 seconds.
What's the percentage of my male friends that are in construction and police officers and stuff like that? Well, I'm glad you asked. I have a cousin that's a police officer. He lives down the road, right? I played with basketball, guys. I had on my team alone, and then basketball in the BABA because I play in the north. I knew at least 5 men that if I ever dig a ditch, no, I don't want to dig a ditch. I have soft hands and I am red. I don't want to go out in the sun. Do you? What we talking about? What we talking about? What we talking about? What are we talking about?
But Neil, let me not get distracted by the water bowl ism. You know,
and that's a good deflection, by the way, Abby, because you didn't answer the question. So very good.
That's pretty skillful. I like that. Yeah. So let me not get distracted by that.
Whenever you're ready,
Abby,
yeah, just let us know, Abby, the percentage of people, your friends, female, and everything that do it. Because I could tell you the percentage of my friends that do hard work. So go ahead. I must be a woman then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I must be a woman because I don't want to go in the sun. I think you missed the entire point. So we will.
No, I behind.
Right. So she's asking, I must be a woman then because I don't.
At the end of the
Sorry. Yeah, she's saying you must be a woman.
I got you.
Right. Good. She must be a woman because I don't want to go in the sun. The point is that I have the opportunity to go and dig ditches if I wanted to. Just like you. But I choose not to.
Right. So back to the greater point and the not getting into the deflections. At the end of the day, we've seen the observable reality that when it comes down to certain things, men and women gravitate very naturally to where they're supposed to go or where they want to go, right? We educated, liberated, all that. 2021, everybody got equal opportunity, etc. But when left to their own devices, men and women gravitate very naturally to where they best fit. Getting where they fit in, as I think it's LeBron to Kevin Love. You know what I mean? So again, when you go back and you see an MTW truck, you know you can see mostly men on it. You know, you see a house building somewhere, generally speaking, you can see men. You see a road build, road construction happening, generally you can see men. If you go to a daycare center, you expect that when you push the door, you can see majority women. Right? It's not that we don't have the opportunity to do those things. And that's the beauty of feminism. I see Victoria in the house. Good to see you, Victoria. Victoria made this comment earlier. She said, either is great. I want to do labor, great. I want to be a housewife, also great. I want to be a nuclear physicist, fantastic. I want to be a secretary, great. And that is the beauty of equality. You have the opportunity to do all these things. It's just a matter of you deciding that that's what you're going to do. But again, and I don't understand why we keep trying to fight human evolution, human biology, and say, you know what, let me force people to go into stuff that they don't necessarily want to go into. You know what I mean? I have had the opportunity to stir concrete, and it's about literal back-breaking work.
And sweet work.
Some stuff here a couple of weeks ago, and
sweet work.
I thought it'd be a good idea to use a shovel and do that, and then I realized, you know what, this ain't making sense to me for in a backyard because shoot, it was just too physically taxing, even for me. You know what I mean? And I consider myself to be pretty strong or whatever, and it's back-breaking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I shudder to think. Let me put it. Yeah, Ruben, brutal stuff. So you don't want to. I ask the question: if you turn up to report, yeah, all right. Let me say, you're building a house. You turn up, and or you building anything really. The crew turn up, and there's a crew of women. And you seeing all the cement go move a bag of cement. We all know a bag of cement is good weight. You see a crew of women turn up, and your immediate thought is going to be, this is probably going to take longer than I would like. That is not going to get done. It's probably going to take longer than I would like. You know what I mean? Shoot, I got a plumber that's come here fairly often. We got the house fairly, well, not fairly old, we got some age on it, so we got to change pipes and stuff fairly often nowadays. Plumber's a man. I don't know many female plumbers.
I have never, know that you bring that up there.
And that isn't.
I have never, ever seen a female plumber. I have seen a female construction worker. I have seen a female bricklayer. I've seen a female almost everything. I've never seen a female plumber.
Well, here's the thing, right, Neil? Ruben said a bag of cement is 100 pounds.
Yep.
Yeah, there's just some things that naturally.
Oh, nice, Ruben.
Men and women will gravitate towards. It's just That's just what it is. And I think, yeah, we may not have the stats right here in front of us, but most of us will know from our observable reality that, yeah, we don't expect to see. If you go into school, you expect to see mostly women in the school, particularly at primary and nursery level. You expect to see mostly women. When you start to move up, you would expect to see more men in like secondary school and then going up to tertiary level education. Because generally speaking, as Neil would have made the point earlier, men are looking to be dealing with the little children that kind of way in terms of nurturing them and stuff. So to see, I taught nursery for like a year in my teaching career. I remember when I went to my first day at the school, when I went, my principal asked me, have you ever taught in nursery? Sorry, have you ever taught down in the school? Very question. And I was like, how far down is down? She said, nursery. I was like, you know what? Yeah. I'll go where you send me. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. I'll be saying all jokes aside, I agree that your observations are valid, yes. But the more you dwell on these observations, the more you solidify the expected gender roles. It's not a matter of solidifying the gender roles. It is, we keep trying to reshuffle and fight with evolution, biology, stuff like that.
And there are expected gender roles, let's be clear.
Let's
be clear on that. There are expected gender roles.
Why? Right? I always wonder why. Some things work as they work for a reason. You know how the saying back in the day, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I got a partner of mine, my boy Chris. Chris used to bracket things when we were young. He said, man, don't worry about it. Nothing wrong with it, ain't Brett. That was Chris's thing, right? But the gender roles, there's a reason you have gender roles. Is what has kept society ticking over for millennia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what has brought the world to the point where it is now,
mm-hmm.
where we now think women and children first, or sorry, women and children only. Because the world is no comfortable that we can kind of like dispense with men. But yes, there are positives about the expanded gender roles, but there are also negatives. Yes, as with everything.
Yeah.
There are positives and negatives to everything.
Right, and there are reasons to question it, and that's the point, Abby. The point is, and that's exactly the point. What we are doing here, right? We're asking you to question your thought process, the positives and negatives of how you see it, right? We are talking about Animal Farm and how it seems some animals are more equal than others. You understand what I'm saying? And we're just asking you, the only thing we ask of you, Abby, honestly, as you say, all jokes aside, the only thing we ask you is to question your thought process on things, right? There are expected gender roles. Yes, there are some gender role. For example, there is I don't want to say there's an expectation in a role of sex. Some men believe women, once they're married, they gotta give it up. We don't agree with that. We say it here all the time. Women have agency over the parts. Women control access to intimacy. Women control access to sex. So there's no expectation there. If you come home and your woman tell you, I got a headache today, I don't feel like having sex. I don't feel like having sex you ever again. Men, you have to take that. That you have to take that, because there's no role that stipulates that she has to willingly say yes, because I'm a woman and because I control access to sex and because that's my gender role, I must give it to you all the time. No. But there are some gender roles out there that are positive, and it's just expected. So all we are asking you, Abby, we do it all the time, because as much as we come in here and we seem to be like stuck in our ways and we come in with information and facts and anecdotes and everything like that, the point is that we challenge ourselves regularly and we have thought experiments where we think about things too. We don't just wake up a day and say we come in to kick over the hornet's nest and come and tell you that women don't do these things or women ain't related. Trust me, we have had conversations with men and women. We have looked at data. We have had our own lived experiences, and we have come to these opinions. At the end of the day, we could be wrong. But the point is that we ask you to challenge your norms. I know you said about our wording is kind of off, and we can take that. You know, the wording before has got me in a little trouble in this space before, but just understand when we speak about women, right? When I say the term women in a context and I say men in a context, I mean the majority of people in that fall under that are the people I'm talking about. No, I do not mean 100% women. I cannot mean 100% women. There will be some generalization in statements when I say men and women. Because we are live, we're talking quickly, so I can't, sometimes I forget to say some. So when I say women, shoot. When I say something like, what? when I say women wear dresses, I don't feel like I got quantify. I don't feel like I have to quantify to say that all women holistic, exclusively wear dresses. Yeah, I mean, again, I be like, this is what this space is for. This space is to be challenged. As I just want to make it clear again. There ain't a rule, a code of conduct here that you got being a yes man. You don't have to agree. The same people that came to our defense just now is people that roast you before, which is funny. So you are very free to disagree. You could disagree. That's part of the game. That's what this space is for. To have the open dialogue. So we appreciate it. What we got? What else we got?
Definitely, I think it encourages the conversation a little bit more. So definitely come again. Challenge us some more. Bring some more people to come and challenge us. We definitely appreciate that. We look forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, man. The chat is disagreement is healthy, Ruben. The chat going crazy. For say women's word, it don't be off.
All right. I mean,
yeah, y'all. The chat is where it can get a little bit back and forth. Neil and I, we tend to be a little bit more focused on task. She says, but I did latch on to the women because the whole idea of the language and the title is part of the whole debate. Much respect all the time. Big hail to you, Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
We hope that you're subscribed and that you've liked the video. That we can see you back in this space again. So
I was looking to see if she give you
friends.
I was looking to see if she give you a dislike.
A dislike.
I'm sorry. That's another thing with me too, Abby. What you gonna realize? I talk a lot of foolishness, right? So like, there are times where I just made some jokes. Derek has a very dark sense of humor, so he makes inappropriate jokes. So just we are two human beings. Just bear with me. Not just don't look at me as two men. Because if you do that,
low we as people will say.
Yeah, if you look at me as just two men, sexist and misogyny, which we've been called before. So we are more than that for sure. We are definitely not that. Season. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages.
Maybe at that kind of time, boy.
Yeah, I mean it's 9:30 now. I don't know if I did put up the fourth full of I have not heard that. I have not heard the term fourth man in over 25 years. Full of folly. Anyhow, yeah, man, we appreciate the engagement for real. We really do. We did open the phone lines though. I did pin the link in the group chat. Sorry, in the chat of the stream. We haven't seen anyone. I don't know if anybody does want to call in or is thinking about calling in. But just fine. We can end the stream early. I mean, I know y'all don't necessarily hear me at all. We a whole night. We's back up with the night sleep. So. Yeah.
See, Aston is saying misogyny is rated E for everyone here.
Aston, boy.
Aston, the original bad man.
Real talk. I said what I said.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
This is the Senate podcast. This has been the Senate podcast. Yeah, man.
Yeah, we got a delay. So, yeah, I think this is as good a place as any. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Senate podcast. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit your notification bell so you don't miss anything coming out in the future. We do have a bunch of content. We put out content for you 5 days a week. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We have shortened version of the Senate. These are lighthearted versions of the Senate where we just, Derek goes down into the swamp that is social media and he brings back some gems where we talk about the things and we get things going. So consider that. The link isn't to Skype though. I ain't put the link to Skype. Will I put the link to? What did I do? Oh, my fault. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That is me trying to out too many fires. I put a link to the stream. My apologies. I will, I apologize. Today was a comedy of errors. We did have a bit of problems at the beginning. But what I will do is I will know
post. I show my old man. The old man, he watches the show every week. Good. I really appreciate that. So really appreciate it, man. He doesn't comment or anything, but he's always there commenting on his scarf and stuff.
She's like on.
So yeah, shout out the pops in the house, man.
Swag. Was that Austin saying about link to OnlyFans? Was that my link? No, Austin. The thing is, we were planning to do. We were saying we actually do have a plan that if this channel does not work and become successful, and we are for whatever reason canceled, we are going to start an OnlyFans channel where we called Caramel and Dark Chocolate, or Dark Chocolate and Caramel. I think is a better phrasing. So there is obviously Dark Chocolate, I am Caramel, and we will do an OnlyFans where we sit around because we have the means to live stream. So we'll live stream, and I don't know, we will knit or read the Animal Farm. so yeah, so there's the link right now. If anybody wants to call in, they can call in. We can hold the phone lines open for about 10 minutes, seeing as we are so early. Shoot, Abby, if you want to call in and have a discussion, we could do that as well. Sorry that I didn't do it before. Sexy candies. No, that sounds no, Austin, not sexy candies. Sexy candies sounds a bit. No, we are heterosexual men, so I don't know if sexy candies fit who we are. But yeah, call in, people, call in if you so. Chocolate. Wait, somebody calling in. Hold on.
We're coming to America.
Somebody is calling in. Somebody's creeping. All right, I see that person. I'm gonna call that person. I am calling back that person. Let me see if we can catch them here again.
I still say we could call it Toffee Talk.
Toffee Talk. No. All right, Derek, I can deal with this because we do have our caller in now.
Yeah, no problem.
So let me set that up real quick.
Yes, guys, this is the Senate Podcast on YouTube, right? You can also follow us on Facebook. You can check us out on Instagram, the Senate Podcast 246. And if you've got anything that you want to discuss, you can send in. I see my boy nearby else. Anything that you want to discuss, send it in session@gmail.com.
Hello.
We've been getting a lot of content from you guys via WhatsApp, via Facebook Messenger as well.
Hi, Jimmy,
so that's great. Really appreciate it. Some of you even call me, voice note me. That's pretty cool as well too.
Wait, hold
on and some of you hold me in conversation when you see me as well, and that's pretty good as well. Right?
All right.
So
all right, Derek, let me
really
get this going.
It.
Oh, they can say me.
Yeah, you ready for me, Neil?
Yeah, let me try this thing.
Hello. Yes. Oh, sorry. Right now, can I be?
Yeah, they can't hear you, Neil. They hear the guests, but not here.
Yeah, no, I just listen to y'all a lot. But the discussion this evening was interesting. But the fact is, look, we've over the years or so that y'all have been doing this, the idea is always to men that and to be the best men that they can be. But the fact is, look, I have had serious discussions or quote unquote arguments, discussions in quotations with a lot of my friends about this whole changing of definition. And I have made it abundantly clear. Any man who wants to go in the bathroom with my girl child will have something to ask for. I am not playing that game. I am not. If you want to be a woman, if you think that you're a woman, go ahead. But you're not going in the changing room with them. You're not going into to get your balls waxed at the salon with them. You're not doing any of that. But that's the thing, Derek. That was a case in Canada.
that was a case in Canada. That was a case in the States too, actually.
Wow.
Where a man,
Wow.
man, I went by, and he deliberately did it. It's not he didn't do it more. He did it deliberately because he wanted because eventually people shut down because they remember this. Because I'm a pedicurist or a manicurist or a beautician. I signed up to deal with women. Why do I want some man nasty balls? Huh? Why do you want to do that?
Oh Lord.
No, but
Yeah.
you're laughing, but it's serious.
I get you, Jimmy. I'm laughing,
that,
but it's a very serious thing.
we should
No,
accept it.
no.
Yes, everybody has a choice they want to make. But I also have a choice to send my daughter when she's going to school, when she's going to any of these places. And any man who thinks that he can get government, the anger, that noise with the parent, with the teachers, headmistress, whoever, no matter what laws they bring, if you pull that shit, sorry, if you pull that nonsense with me, it then go because I am in that, and I have made it abundantly. My daughter is, I have a young child and another child who's a teenager, and I have taught them from the beginning. When you're all out on a date with anybody, the first question before we even get to dating, when you first meet the person and they feel interested in you and want to talk to you, the first question you go ask is, "This the original packaging?" If you don't want to ask the question, there is no need for any other conversation because it shows that you want them to be body. Because the fact is, like, with this whole you want to change the birth certificate to reflect their preferred gender. That's nonsense. Because it is incumbent upon people to know who they are dealing with, what they are dealing with, any diseases they're dealing with, any issues that they are. When you're getting into a relationship, far less a marriage, you gotta know that up front. And these people voice their rights and all, but people, biology and reality don't play with ideology. If I jump out of a moving plane, gravity still exists, I will fall. So therefore, when we try to be so woke and politically correct that our brains leak out of our ears, then it makes no sense. Men and women are equal, but different. I cannot bear a child. I don't have a vagina. I don't want a vagina. Vaginas are very good. They're very, very good. But not for me. I don't want one. My wife has one. Right? So when we go down the line, changing reality to suit somebody's perception of what they think they are, and don't leave space for discussion. I have no problem people wanting to look at themselves and cut up the body. That's at them. But when you say you cannot have a discussion about it, you cannot say anything about it, or that you're being transphobic and dysphobic. Phobia is an unrealistic fear of something. I am not transphobic. I do not have an unrealistic fear of them. I know exactly what their issue is, but the fact is, I am a and women and men are different, and no matter how many hormones you take, no matter what surgery you get, you are still genetically male or genetically female. And I'm not talking about the 0.00001% of people who are actual hermaphrodites who have both appendages, and even then, biologically, they still tend toward a certain sex. I really want to understand how serious this is. But anyway, I'm talking too much. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. What I would say is this, right? So I think fundamentally we agree with you, but here's the thing. There's where I personally disagree, because I think we live in an age where you can do what you want to do, and I think we both agree with that, right? If you want to identify as a woman, if you want to identify as a man, that is up to you.
Okay.
If you want to go the extra mile and, you know, as you said, have the surgery and everything to do that, that is your right as a human being to do what you want. I do agree that the discussion cannot be had. That is the problem. I think the problem is that as soon as you have a problem with, let's say, because me personally, I don't necessarily, in terms of the bathroom situation, right? Yes, I don't know if I would feel comfortable with my son going in a bathroom with, well, sorry, being in a bathroom with a woman coming in there, or a person that was born a woman but identifies as a man. But again, the bathroom argument, that's a father instinct. But really and truly, when you think about it, nobody ain't peeping into the urinal with me. Nobody ain't looking to trouble me or feel me up. I think the bigger point is as if an adult tried to trouble my son. That's a bigger adult, whether it's man or woman. That's a different issue, right? I think we should not necessarily tie that to gender. But what I would say is this. I think we live in an era where we live in a time where people do not want to have the very tough and hard conversations. And people have come to people want everything to be inclusive, right? And it simply cannot happen. Yes, you can afford certain rights to trans people. You can amend the Constitution. You could amend various things so that they feel inclusive. And I literally have no problem with that, right? But in the end, I saw something today, Jimmy, and it is so funny, right? Because it said something along the lines, I paraphrase it, that, you know, because I don't believe in your ideals doesn't mean I don't respect them, right? Because you may have your ideals. You believe that a person born a man that transitions to a woman is a woman, or a person that transitions from a woman to a man is a man. You may feel that men and women should compete. You may feel whatever you feel with regards to the trans thing, and that is fine. My thing is, I don't understand it. It is not my thing. Let people do what they want to do to feel comfortable within themselves and their body. However, do not force me, Neil Hoyt, to kind of go this song and dance to try to change my perception of you. I'm not discriminating against you. I am not out here calling you names. Shoot, I'm not saying I would never work with a trans person. I've worked with homosexual people before. That's not the issue. The issue is that I think we have a thing that as soon as you start to talk out against things that you don't necessarily agree with on a fundamental basis, then you are called into ill repute. And that's the problem. The problem is that the conversation is not being had. People have come out and said, you know what? You could change your gender. There are 100 and somebody genders apparently. I don't necessarily agree. But again, maybe I'm not educated enough. Maybe I should learn more. Maybe there is 100 genders. Personally, it does not bother me if a person wants to identify as male, female, dog, cat, beast. It does not matter to Neil Hoyt. When the morning come and I wake up, my eyes, I brush my teeth, eat my breakfast. What happens with trans people and everything, that does not affect me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
In some aspects, yes, it doesn't affect you. But when we're going down the legal route, the legal ramifications of certain things, when you're going down the legal route in terms of when it comes to female scholarships, female scholarships in the NCAA, and all of these things, those things are impacted by this. All of those women scholarships, that guy would not be eligible for a Title IX scholarship because he identifies as a woman. And all those other women would not be available because his record, his athletic ability is more than theirs by a magnitude that is not going to be beaten in the very near future unless some other woman gains some spectacular time or they crush the record that he made.
So here's my. Go ahead.
So while we're going through all of this, the whole thing about legally doing this and legally erasing gender from certain things. Again, I have no problem you want to identify as a woman if you're a man, or a man if you're a woman. But however, when it comes to birth certificates, the original biological sex needs to remain, if you want add on, put in brackets, whatever, their gender, fine. But the original biological sex needs to remain because one, when a murder happens or when any criminal activity happens, right? They are not saying it was in America or London or one of places, they are not referring to men who have raped, who are going to prison for raping a woman as saying that the woman was raped by a woman. Right? Why are not more feminists angry about this? Why is no one saying anything about this?
So, okay.
These are basic legal problems that we do not know the ramifications of.
No, here's my thing, Jimmy. Here's my thing with the legal ramifications of things. So, you know, I have faith in humanity, right? Because I know we live in a very odd time. And I know that we have a lot of challenges to a lot of things. And we literally, because human beings are building it as we fly. Let me not fool we foot that we know what we're doing. Yeah. And I think that one of the things that is going to become be normalized or come back full circle is this whole matter of the legal ramifications of trans. Because this whole experiment of trans women going into female sports and all of these other things that are happening, I think what's going to happen is it's an experiment. You're going to try it. You're going to realize, all right, you see this here? This ain't making sense. Because at some point, it has happened in certain sports where women literally say, I don't want to fight this man in my sport.
Ruben is asking if trans women go to women's prison.
You know, I don't want me like. I mean,
yes.
I know Ruben is not being facetious, but go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
And they were prison by the man. A trans woman went to a prison in England and raped some women that were there. Trans women, aka, do go to women's prison.
Mm-hmm.
And they carry on the same criminal activity inside that they did outside because he was for rape, and they sent him to a women's prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, it's even my prison. I ain't even in prison, and I cannot feel comfortable about that.
Well, so right, so my thing is, Jimmy, I hear you. I understand where you're coming from. My approach to it is that they can try and they realize that this don't make sense, because I understand that there are certain rights that can be afforded to trans people, but we cannot blur the lines for things like this. You do make a very good point, because I feel like there should be a law. If you're a trans person, you have to, if you're dating someone, you have to say, I was born a man or a woman. I think that is something, and I know people can say, whoa, you disclosing. The same thing happens to people with HIV and AIDS. You can be sent to prison for knowingly transmitting a disease. Right? I feel as you should give me the information and let me make a big boy choice. If you were born a man, transition to a woman, and we are dating, I feel you should let me know before I make some very bonding life choices that you were born a man. Let me make that decision. Let me say, well, you know what? It doesn't matter. I love this person for who she is, and I could go down the road, or I don't think this can work because it's not for me. Regardless, I feel that is something that should be made at least known to the person. And if, you know, we could get into legal ramifications of NDAs and whatever. In terms of scholarships, I do not think that it is fair for a trans woman to be in female sports, because then you have situations like what we saw there, right? As it pertains to birth certificates and you know, putting certain things on it and amending birth certificates, I don't think that you should amend any birth certificate, because a birth certificate records your information at birth. And at birth, if you are a man, if you are a woman, if you were born Frank Thomas or Francine Thomas, the point is that should stay. Yeah, because when you start changing these things, you affect census data. Yeah. Because you change things that are so pertinent to the understanding and knowledge of a society. How many men versus women are employed? How many men versus women live amongst the poverty line? How many men and women are in a society? How many you know, like, there's certain information that you want and need to know. When you blur the lines to the point of getting rid of the birth certificate and saying you were born Francine when you were born Frank, that is a problem. right? That's a legal document that informs people of certain information beyond you. It is not only about you with these documents. So I personally, Jimmy, I feel like when my dad say, "Oh, you think waters find its level, they can find it me." Yep. At the end of the day, I think that they're gonna try, because understand, in the last 100 years, in the last 50 years, in the last 60 years, we've become more awoke, enlightened, or perceived enlightenment than any time before in human history. So now we are trying a lot of things. We're trying to see what fits. We literally don't know what we're doing. Okay, so now men can become women, and that's being accepted. So how far can we take this? How far can a trans person have rights in the world? Can they compete against men and women? Can they, what can they do? What defines a woman? Let them do them.
Question.
Go ahead.
The trans person, what rights does the trans person not have as a human being? They have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
They do.
What rights?
Well, yeah, they do. They do. By and large, they do.
They are free to job. They're free to travel. They're free to go. They're free to do
all the human rights.
They do.
Mm-hmm. All the human rights available to them.
What other human rights are then not available to them?
I don't think there are any. I think it's just a matter of, you're talking about going past human rights to social acceptance. I think that's what the fight is for, a bit more than human rights.
Social acceptance is not a right. It is not socially acceptable in Barbados to be butt naked with your bottom all over the place, and you can see the brown stain from the stool that you just let go. Socially acceptable. So what are we saying? Because we want something to be socially acceptable, that we raise it to the level of a right. It's not so.
No, Jimmy, you bring in no. This is the part here we can agree on. I think when we come down to social acceptance, or rather, social acceptance. Once we come to social acceptance, this is a different kettle of fish, right? Because at the end of the day, we know that our parents, our grandparents, don't get done with homosexuality. We know are more tolerant. We know people have gay friends, people associate with gay people work with gay people, etc. Things are changing, but again, go ahead.
Especially if you're in the arts, if you turn too hard, you run into like a dozen of them.
Well, to me, I think the problem is that the conversation is not being had. There's a sub, and the thing about it is, it's not only in the trans community, it's in all subsets of arguments, right? When we have the men versus women, I don't want to say men versus women. Let me say equality. When you have homosexuality and the genders, when you have these things, sexuality, all of these different things are thrown around because it's not genuinely accepted. I'm not talking about, yes, there's discrimination. Yes, there's violence against people that want to be, or are these different genders and everything like that. So I understand that there's that, and it's bad. Discrimination is bad. Violence against trans people and homosexual people is terrible. Yes, you're trying to stamp that out, but if I move through society, right, and I talk to everybody, I talk to man, woman, dog, beast, everybody. I associate with man, woman, dog, beast, right? I work with man, woman, dog, beast. But in a private setting, not even a private setting, but if pointedly asked in a public forum, if I personally think that there are more than two genders, I will say, no, there are only two genders. But then I'm going to get inundated with a lot of flame and a lot of flack and everything like that, because I don't think the way a small subset of people think. And that to me is a problem. I have the right, just like how everybody has the right to have their own opinion. Am I out here talking about end transgender this and do that and everything like that? No. Again, do you. If you want to run with men, run with men. If you want to run with women, run with women. Do your thing. The point is when it comes to my personal opinions on something, that is a problem. I liken that, right, Jimmy, to the color red. No, not the color red, the color yellow. Not a lot of people like the color yellow. I like the color yellow, right? And I am out here advocating for the color yellow. And I say the world at large don't give a lot of love to the color yellow. So you know what? I am going to talk about the color yellow, and I can make it that yellow has rights like everybody else. I want them to be on the spectrum. I want more cars that are yellow. I want more shirts that are yellow. I want more yellow flags. I want more yellow, yellow. I go to Derek and say, Derek, do you like the color yellow? Nah, I don't really like the color yellow. How can you not like the color yellow? I can't understand you don't like the color yellow. It's not that Derek has gone and said, burn all yellow clothing. It's not that Derek has said, I find yellow cars ugly. Derek has never, I don't even know if Derek like the color yellow, but the point is that
not particularly.
I have never seen Derek in a yellow piece of clothing. So that's why I use the color yellow. And other people don't like the color yellow. But at the end of the day, that is Derek's personal right. The same way Derek has a personal right to like or dislike something or not agree with a stance or a lifestyle or a perceived notion of how things should go. That is up to Derek from his lived experiences, from his going around. Right? We're not talking about society. We're not talking about laws. We're not talking about lawmakers. I'm talking about Derek. Say again? Jimmy? Have I taught Jimmy to death?
I think Jimmy's muted.
Jimmy, you muted? Oh, you were muted?
Just now.
Right. No, I was saying.
I can't really.
Say again?
But you were freezing up. So I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I was freezing. Okay.
You were freezing up.
Right. So what I was saying is that I think people. No, Aston, yellow is an awesome color. I used to rock yellow a lot. I can't find more yellow. But anyhow, the point I was trying to make is that people have to understand that we as individuals have our own rights to our.
Real talk. I said what I said.
So wicked, Derek. We as a people, individual people, have our likes, dislikes, everything like that. Once you don't walk around talking about I hate black people, I hate trans women. Once you don't come with hate speech, once you don't discriminate in your job, once you don't discriminate in your society and you refuse products and services and basic human needs or any need to a trans person or any subset of person, if you don't agree with something, that is fine. That is fine. That is fine. Because we don't all have the same ideals. And when you, and I got a particular school of thought I want to explore, but I ain't going to explore it right now. I got to do some more research. But I feel as though too far left is right. Because I don't agree with a man transitioning into a woman and competing in women's sports. I think that is nonsense. I would be labeled as transphobic. We are so quick to label things and to throw this out because it is a form of shaming. It is a form of guilting. It is a form of, hey, let's use this word to get an attack on this person. Right? But really and truly, most people in this chat know me. If you don't know me personally, you know at least my temperament. I literally don't have any hate in my heart for any subsect or any person or any whatever genre or whatever you want to be. Whatever you want to be in this life, you can be. You have the opportunity to be it. You want to do it. You identify with it. Go for it. But if you ask me how I feel about X, Y, and Z in a public forum, and I tell you how I feel, do not come for me. Because I'm not going to tell you something. You ain't going to hear I hate nobody. You ain't going to hear that I don't think. You're going to say, personally speaking, I do not think that men transition to women should run with me because there's a whole myriad of problems that happen in this scholarship thing. Is a huge problem. The changing of birth certificates to reflect that is a problem. Shoot, I think it's a problem to include bathrooms for those genders. A problem because where does it stop? You create a bathroom for transgender people. At some point, a new gender can come out and say, I don't feel like comfortable or safe in a transgender bathroom. I would like my own bathroom, please. Where does it stop? And then we are not considering the infrastructure, the building codes, town and country planning. We are not considering these things. We are simply implementing our will to change a whole subsection of things that are not necessary. Bathrooms are private. I have never gone into a bathroom and a person trouble me. Granted, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I might never people over the urinal and say, child boy, you're working with saying that. That never happened to me. So I'm not worried about a trans person coming in there and saying, well, you like that, what you're working with there? Because that don't happen in my day-to-day experiences. Right? So I am not worried about that. I am just simply saying there was a situation that happened in the States. I know I'm talking to death, but this is a very touchy thing for me because in the States, a few years ago, there was a bakery where a gay couple came in and said, we would like a wedding cake done. The very conservative bakery said, you know what, the owners of the establishment said, no, we ain't really in keeping with our ideals. We can offer you a birthday cake, we can offer a congratulatory cake, we can offer you any other cake, but we are not doing a wedding cake with 2 men on it. We're not doing that. If that is right, if that is a problem, here's a list of other bakeries that you can go to. It's fine. The 2 men took it upon themselves to take it further. Their shop was vandalized. It went to the Supreme Court or the grand jury or whatever, and it was taken away from them. They lost their business because of their ideals. They were polite. They were saying, they said, you know what? And to me, it always, where does it stop? We talk about rights. We talk about rights. What about their right to have a bakery and have conservative ideologies? They weren't hurting anybody. They weren't hurting anybody.
And the right to refuse business.
Like,
as any other entrepreneur.
But the thing is, right? I followed that case very closely because what happens there generally tends to migrate down south.
Uh-huh.
So the fact is, look, they sold cakes to anybody, but the fact is, this was a custom cake that was requested. They don't have to do every custom cake they get. Like, I don't, as a musician, have to play every request I get. Derek don't have to sing everything he get. The fact is, that's a setup from the beginning. They knew what they were going to do. And they said so in an interview. Because they knew that they were conservative, and they went there deliberately so they can set a precedent in the U.S. Supreme Court. So the fact is, there was no animosity to the men. The men said, look, I will sell you anything else, but we're not doing that because we don't do that. The same way they got some of these crazy loony woke people in California refused to sell 3 cops because they were refugee in a restaurant. Right? So those people in California exercise their free right as a business to choose whom they would serve. He exercised his right as a business owner to do the same thing. And the problem with this, Neil, and when we don't have open discussion, it will be cancer that we try to hide, and it will fester. And when it explodes, they are not going to like how it's going to end. If people cannot say anything about it, reasonable people will make reasonable decisions. I can't speak about it, fine. But when reasonable people decide to use the law to work around whatever law they come out, and then the people that they're choosing to quote unquote champion get hurt or get put in a position where they are unqualified for the job that they were hired for, and they get fired because they were unqualified, not because they were transgender, or because they were gay, or because they were black. The fact is, token person is of no use to anybody. If I'm not hiring a person because they're transgender. I'm not hiring a person because they're gay, black, Asian, white, whatever. I'm hiring a person because they're the best for the job and they're willing to accept what I'm willing to pay them. If we hire a person because of a characteristic, then all they are hired for is being a token. And the same way Kamala Harris was hired as vice president because she was black, not because she was good at her job. The same way she is getting browbeaten because she is not doing her job. People might like the woman, but when you look at her track record, a token hire is of no use to anybody, and nobody wants to be around them. If we keep on hiding and suppressing speech and all of this, every speech is free. Once you don't threaten anybody, once you don't threaten to harm anybody, you can call me a nigga. I don't care.
You could say for another next year, but don't touch me.
Once you're not threatening to physically harm me, I do not care. Hate speech is nothing unless you are threatening physical acts of violence. And when people are not allowed to speak, and when you try to suppress them, the kettle is going to boil. And when you don't let the steam escape, it will explode in your face. And they will not have the will or want to deal with the crop storm that entails. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you calling in, Jimmy. Is a very hot topic. Well, I want quickly before you go, I want thing. Abby is asking regarding the kit. What's the difference? What would be the difference if the shop refused to serve people of color? The difference is, Abby, is that you know the color of my skin from the time you walk in. I do not know your sexual orientation when you walk in the door. When I walk in the door, you know that I'm black. And you know that you can refuse to serve me. It is not an ideology. Me being black is not a concept. Me being black is not an ideology. It is not there is no.
Something that can change.
Well,
Michael Jackson.
Well, to be fair, Derek, you can't really, from what I understand, you can't change your sexuality just like that. Like your sex.
No, but you can't. But you can't identify as
right
in these times.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
That's the point I was trying to.
This is not about that. The fact is, this is a custom kit. Every customer does not get the same treatment when it comes to custom kits, when it comes to bespoke. Where if you are designing something for somebody and it has something like, say, you want, if it was a bunch of white people and they want to design a kit with a swastika and say Heil Hitler, they said they don't do that either.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
A custom kit. This has nothing to do with whether they were black. The fact is, they told them we will give you something else. We will give you alternate cases, but the fact we are not designing that particular kit.
Right. Agreed.
And it's hard for people to understand.
Yeah. Jimmy, thanks a lot. We gotta keep it pushing. We gotta keep it moving. We are well everything. So thank you very much for calling in. Thank you for the support as always. Jimmy is always in the chat. He's watched all the time.
Always.
So we thank you, Jimmy. Thanks for calling in, my brother. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to reiterate. Being black is not a concept. Being black is not an ideology. Being black is a pretty definitive thing. It is something you cannot conceal, right? Like I cannot walk anywhere and not be. It's like my height. I can't walk somewhere and be 5'6". I can't sit down in a theater and be small and be short. You understand? It is what it is, right? And yes, your sexual orientation is what it is, but you don't walk into a place and say, because watch, if they say, can you design a cake, put it on these colors and make it very thing, and quite literally bought 2 men and put it on top, I'm sure the people would have done it. If they had not said anything to do with a wedding, if they said, look, we just want a cake. Just do a cake for us. Here's the design. Here's the specifications. Please and thanks. They would have made the cake, brought it out, and put 2 men on it, and they would have had their wedding cake. When I walk into the store...
As a matter of fact, people make wedding cakes and don't have the 2 people on the top.
Right.
So it's possible to get a wedding cake without the people on top.
Right. So if Derek walks into a store, and it's the same bakery, and says, I'd like a cake. I just want a cake. I don't want a wedding cake. I don't want a birthday cake. I just want a cake. Shoot, you never got to put icing on it. I just want a plain vanilla cake. And the people say, no, we don't serve your kind. That is different because they did not refuse them service, you know. They just refused to make that one thing. So Abby, I hope that explains the difference because it's not as we get triggered by a blanket statement. We get triggered by they refuse to make a wedding cake. It is discrimination. When you look at it, it is not the same as they refuse to make this cake because I am black. It is not the same. If I point
Let me also
go ahead there.
Here,
sorry,
right? Let me point out as well that they have a couple of friends who are into baking and stuff like that as well. And they too refuse to do certain jobs based on, you know, for example, you know that the novelty cakes are a thing. People will want a cake with a penis on it or whatever. And I got some friends that would tell you, nah,
you ain't doing that.
I ain't doing that, you know. So you as a business owner reserve the right to refuse somebody's work. You reserve that right, but I guess this is the times in which we live, you know.
Cancel culture is vivid.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, that kind of thing. It's 25 past the hour of 10 in Barbados and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. You are watching the Senate podcast here on YouTube. like it, share it, comment, subscribe. Follow us on the Senate Podcast on Facebook, the Senate Podcast 246 on Instagram, senateinsession@gmail.com. Yeah. Send any information that you think we should know, any articles that you think would be interesting for us to give it a look and have a discussion over. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the Senate shorts. That's the more entertaining stuff. Everybody doesn't appreciate the long form content that we do. Some people prefer the shorter stuff as a little bit more entertaining, a quicker joke, a quicker laugh, if they want to call it that. So tune in, look forward for those on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We got some in-between content that we try to work out we can get done.
Yeah.
I guess that's the one days, the shorts will be the 2020.
Yeah.
The T20 cricket.
Mm-hmm.
But we trying to work it out for you guys so that you can still get that experience as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, it's been great as always. Always good to be here with you, my brother. Talking these things.
Yeah, man.
And good to see the people in the chat.
Yeah,
bring a friend next time on Thursday. We can talk some more things. We might look into some more double standards and we might talk about fat shaming on Thursdays.
Ooh,
on
child.
Yeah, you know.
Ooh.
Yeah, that might be the one to get me canceled because you know that's very near and dear to your heart.
I can wear my shirt. I will wear my shirt and tie. And my shades.
Yeah, okay, all right, no problem.
So that if we go viral.
we got through this one all right. I was wondering how we would have made it, and you see we've managed to get through the waters so far after the clip it and send it wherever Lord knows what's gonna happen. But we got through it. Thursday we can talk about fat shaming. Yeah, man, it's been great as always. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bring your friends. We can talk again on Thursday. We love wanna see you. As always, don't forget, even though we don't make the rules, we just make sure you know where they are. Yeah, you can ignore reality all you want, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. Be the best version of you for you. And we will see you guys again on Thursday night at 8.
The contaminated environment. You know, two about that.
See you later.